Okay, we are live on YouTube.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the February 2025 meeting for the Traffic and Transportation Committee. We have a pretty packed agenda today with quite a few festival applications that were rolled over from previous month, as well as I think 4 applications, if we count them separately, three businesses for dining out, as well as a discussion on city bike later as well. Josephine, which one shall we start with first? The SAPO applications?
Agenda is 2025 SAPO Festival applications. We will begin with the Fifth Avenue Festival, which is going to take place this year on June 1st, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For the purpose of the record, it's SAPO ID 819889, and in attendance is Liv Lovejoy, the Executive Director of the Fifth Avenue Bid, and Chip Cafaro, who should be doing fifth and third, or
Yeah.
okay, very
You
good.
did.
So take it away.
Yeah,
What is-
nice of it.
All right, so as Josephine said, it's June 1st, 2025. That's this first Sunday in June. 10 to 6. However, we do have the permit from 8 to 8 to set up and break down. Last year was very successful. We had a lot of participation with vendors, different variety, diverse vendors, which was great. We did have some complaints regarding the pony show that we had, regarding smell and some more animal cruelty, but overall, the kids seemed to like it. And the weather was good, so
Okay, are there any changes this year?
no.
Okay.
Do we receive any other complaints in our district office around either on the Fifth Avenue Festival?
No, we did not. So I have up, Jack, the festival stipulations that we have pretty standard the last few years. It's really run well. We have an interagency meeting in advance of the festivals to coordinate with the police department, sanitation department. So it's an opportunity for the festival organizers and the local agencies to meet. And that's worked out very well.
Yes.
We've done that the past few years, shortly in advance of the event.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the committee?
I just have a quick question.
Carmen has a question.
For vendors, is there a nonprofit rate or?
Yes, there is.
Yes, I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna send the email to you, the nonprofit application.
Okay.
So if people call here, you can just send it
Send
to us. And then we'll screen them once they submit it.
Okay.
But that's a big thing that we push for. That's what makes both these festivals unique in that they're very community oriented. And we try to get as many nonprofit organizations
Okay,
in the community.
yeah, because I work with different groups and they asked me and I said I would ask you. So,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Actually, I have a copy of it. I'll give it to you clear.
thank you.
That's ready to go.
Okay, Jack, I don't see any other questions.
Okay. So motion on the floor to approve this with the stipulations as stated on the screen here, which is the same as previous years. Josephine, would you mind just going through these one time because they're going to be the same, but want to make sure they're clarified for the record?
The NYPD amplified sound permit will end at 6 p.m. Amplified sound permits will be issued at the discretion of the Fifth Avenue Business Improvement District, and all applicants must adhere to New York City noise code regulations and NYPD rules relating to sound permits. A list of permits must be provided to CB10. The Department of Sanitation must begin cleaning after the event closes at 6 p.m. All SLA licensed premises applying for one-day outdoor use must submit a signed letter notifying CB10 that their SLA licensed premise received the SAPO festival rules, as well as the stipulation agreement with CB10 and will comply with all rules during the event. Violation of SAPO rules will be subject to enforcement. In addition, CB10 will submit complaints of rule violations with documentation to SAPO, NYPD, and the State Liquor Authority. Establishments that do not obtain a one-day SLA permit will not be permitted to serve alcohol. Festival marshals must report any vendor or business selling alcohol to NYPD for enforcement. Distribution of festival regulations to all participating vendors and merchants. The Fifth Avenue bid as sponsor will attend an interagency meeting organized by Community Board 10 with the leadership of the NYPD, DSNY, SLA, SAPO, and DOT.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have the motion on the floor to approve this with those stipulations. All in favor, please raise your hand. All against? Any recusals or abstentions?
I approve, by the way. I wasn't counted, so I'm just letting, I'm saying yes.
Thank you. Okay,
Right, I think that was everyone in favor there.
yes, unanimous. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. Is the Holy Cross Cultural.
You don't want to
Festival.
do Third Avenue?
Do you want to do Third Avenue?
Yeah.
Okay, all
There's a
right.
few differences.
Okay, we're gonna hold on to Holy Cross. We're gonna skip to Third Avenue because Chip is here. And asked if we could move next. So Third Avenue Festival is going to be on September 28th, 2025, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Third Avenue between Bay Ridge Avenue and 94th Street. SAPO ID 825-027. So Chip, take it away.
Okay, basically, everything's gonna be the same, except one of the major problems we're facing this year, it started last year, and that outside vendors no longer need a permit from SAPO. All they need to come to any festival or any event is a New York State sales tax number. So if you have a tax number, you can come, which makes it a little bit more difficult because we can't screen them like we used to, you know. It may increase the number of vendors that come in, but we've always been very careful of who we take in.
Yeah.
So anybody with a tax ID number can come in now. So
Sure.
that's one thing that's new. It happened last year, but it only happened in September of last year. And the other problem we have is that the rules don't come out from SAPO till the middle of March. I spoke with Chanel and she said that that's definitely going to take place again. That all you're going to need is the tax ID number. And but we're ready for the applications. I won't send out applications yet until we finalize everything. I also we don't know how much sanitation is going to charge, which is the biggest expense for the festival. That's $6,000 for sanitation. If they increase the budget, it's getting harder and harder to do the festival every year. We hope to increase the number of outside vendors by taking them in if they have tax ID numbers. But I can guarantee you that every single person that is there will have a tax ID number. Nonprofits also either have to have a 501c3 or a nonprofit status. And with that, we'll take their EIN number or tax ID number. But we're really, really encouraging as many nonprofits. And technically, they're entitled to 10 feet, but we have 25 blocks, so we have plenty of space. So we want to encourage anybody knows a nonprofit. They can contact Josephine here. She's going to have applications, and we'll send them out for the nonprofit. And the only other item that I was concerned with is something that we really will discuss it when we have to have that
Interagency meeting.
Yes, is we got killed last year by the rain, but worse than that was the cars that were parked on the avenue in the morning. The no parking signs. We're gonna have to do something about that with all the events. We had them all over. People just park on the avenue and they can't set up. And we lost a lot of vendors last year because of it.
Are there tow operations?
Yes, but like last year, usually we're supposed to get 5 tow trucks. Last year, they only assigned 3. By the time I got there at 8 o'clock, one of them was already down and had to be taken out. So there was only 2 tow trucks and for 25 blocks, which is a nightmare. It's impossible, especially because every block had cars parked on them.
That's definitely something that we can,
That's-
during the interagency meeting.
Yes,
talk about.
yes,
Okay.
that's something that we'll have to work on. And it happens on Fifth Avenue also.
Okay.
It means everything's got to be moved around if you can't set up, a stage, especially where the stages are. That's something that we have to discuss. And we're gonna be strict with the sound permits to end promptly at 6 o'clock. Usually sanitation doesn't start moving till we get them to 6:30. 6 o'clock, they're there and lined up, but we usually don't start. We gotta close everything down before they go through, you know. But no matter what time, I'm doing this 46 years, no matter what time we start, we always finish between 8:30 and 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Always. We've never gone past that, so.
all right. It's been very good. No complaints.
Yeah.
John.
Did you have complaints?
Nope.
Complaints?
No
Listen,
complaint.
that's good.
That's good. Can you help me understand why allowing for vendors with tax IDs prevents you from screening compared to the Fifth Avenue one?
Well, because the way it's been right along is they had to go to the city and get a 1-day vendor's permit. And with that, it meant that they were screened by the city and approved. Now, if they have a tax ID number, they don't have to do anything except submit the application to us. So, how do I know if she submits an application for somebody else and puts her name on it, you know?
But that's not in effect for the Fifth Avenue one in June.
It's the same for Fifth Avenue. So
I see. Got it.
before this new ruling with the tax ID, licenses were issued by the DCA and then the DCWP, but now it's just tax IDs.
Yeah. So we just have to be more careful on our end and check them more carefully that day, you know. So,
Got it.
When they submit an application, you would sign them a spot or?
yes,
Okay.
we take in all the applications. We wait till usually like 10 days before the event. Especially this year will be a problem because of last year's rain. You'll see that everybody's gonna wait till the last minute. They're gonna pay a late fee if they wait till the last minute, because it's very hard to put this together if, you know, if everybody comes in at the end. And last year we had 17 bands playing on the avenue. You had 4 dance studios. Third Avenue is one of the biggest festivals in the city. It's the longest, 25 blocks. Nobody else gets 20. So with all the bands, to coordinate the bands, the sound permit, everybody has to get a sound permit. You know, it's very involved. But we had 4 dance studios that had stages. We had stages with bands, entertainment, puppet shows. That's why I'm retiring. That's why.
Any questions, comments from the committee?
Can't wait to go.
Okay, all right. So motion on the floor again with the same stipulations. All in favor, please raise your hand. And Joe as well.
Joe?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to turn on my video.
Okay,
Okay, I say yes.
very
Okay.
good.
Any against?
No.
Abstentions, recusals? I think that was all in favor as well.
Okay, so now we'll go back to Holy Cross, Greek Cultural Festival. This year we'll be taking, oh, wait, I had the wrong date up here. It says 2024, my apologies. It's September 18th to 21st, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Ridge Boulevard between 84th Street and 86th Street, SAPO ID 826-195, and also 85th Street between Ridge Boulevard and Colonial Road, SAPO ID 826-514. And we have Evans here from Holy Cross.
Well,
So, so there are 2 separate permits, one for Ridge Boulevard and 84th, and Ridge Boulevard between 84th and 86th Street. I'm sorry, and one for 85th between Ridge and Colonial. Again, it's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It was approved last year with the following stipulations: that music will end at 10 p.m., that all rides will be removed by Tuesday following the festival. And then there was an issue last year from SAPO regarding the removal of a city parking sign, I guess by the vendor.
Yeah, the
And-
rides guy does that.
Right.
And every year not to, and
Okay,
it, he
Every year.
does it.
right. So, so could we stipulate this year to the vendor that he does not do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Justin Brannon early Monday morning when I drive by. When I used to take my kids to school, I would always do a check and I would call him. I'd be like, hurry up before your office starts getting the phone calls. Can you, call DOT or whatever to replace. They have been putting this sign up, they kind of like rig it where they put screws in and it's still up, but it's not, appropriate. But I reach out to Justin immediately to get help to have DOT to it. But
Okay, so the vendor knows now that,
we tell them every year, even last year, I called them up personally and
What is
like,
it, Angelo?
yeah. I'm like, what you guys doing? I'm like, you're killing me over here. You're gonna have everybody calling us up again, but it was replaced, quickly. It was fixed this year.
okay, so then we'll add that. And I could say it's the from last year.
Okay, so this is on top of our regular set of stipulations, right?
Yes, yes, these are the only ones that are distinct.
Okay, great. Doris, I see your hands up. Please go ahead. You're muted, Doris.
This is close to 84th, 85th, 86th, which are very residential. Are there, because going till 10 is pretty late, is there any history of complaints or is it okay with the neighbors?
In the past, we've had one or two neighbors complain about late night noise. But I would say in recent years, the worked very closely, Holy Cross has worked with I'm
Very
aware of
strict.
that. Very strict with the
9:59, they're
10,
telling the van
Yes.
and stuff.
very
Okay.
strict with the 10 PM stop, yes,
I think that complaint came from a doctor.
Thank you.
yes. Thank you.
Mhm.
In previous years, have we gotten staple fines for removal of the street signs, or was last year the first year that happened?
I think last year was the first year, that they reached out. I think because there was a complaint, a resident complaint, about it. So again, the vendor was spoken to, like, I remember this last year. And told that he cannot, remove and replace, you can't do that, so he's gonna have to position his equipment in a different, way.
Okay, we'll add it to stipulations for this year as well. Any other comments from the committee? Okay, all right, so motion on the floor to approve both of these applications, one for one street, one for the other street, with the stated stipulations as well as the music in the 10. All rides must be removed by Tuesday, and then additional stipulation around the non-removal of staple signs. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. All right, any against? Any abstentions or recusals? Okay, I believe that was all in favor there. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. All right, so we'll be voting on this at the full board meeting on February 24th.
Okay,
And then I'll be in contact with you with the steps.
okay.
Okay?
Great. Thank you
All right,
very much.
thank you so much.
And I pray you all have good weather.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Jack, so we're moving along to the next item on the agenda, which is the review of Dining Out NYC's outdoor cafe applications for Penny and Tico Bakery located at 9124 3rd Avenue. Their application number is 2024-080-103-0036. And there are two applications under review this evening. One is for a roadway cafe on 92nd Street with 12 tables and 24 seats, which is 40 feet long and 8 feet wide. The other is for a sidewalk cafe on both 92nd Street and 3rd Avenue with 16 tables and 32 seats, which is 71 feet long and 7 feet wide. So I just put together some photos here, a layout of the roadway cafe, and this was also, forwarded to committee members. The layout of the sidewalk cafe. Their hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. And that's pretty much it. I know that the owner is on the call.
Hello.
Oh, Francesco and Joseph.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Jack, I'll turn it over to you.
I guess I'll give the owner a moment if they want to speak about their plans for this. If not, we'll turn it to the committee.
Everything is the same. We haven't changed for 20 years.
Yeah, 25 years.
25
Same.
years.
The only thing we've added was the street area, which is a little smaller than it was during COVID. Nothing else.
Right. Any questions, comments from the committee?
I do. I have several.
Go ahead.
In the picture you showed, it appears that they have these barriers with their name that appear to be blocking the crosswalks.
No, that's not blocking the crosswalks.
Well, could you show us the picture again, Josephine?
Yeah, which, no,
That's
that's,
Up one,
No,
it was right there.
no, that's not the crosswalk.
no,
That's my entrance.
that's like 6 feet or 5 feet off the building. There's
Yeah.
there's another 8 or 10 feet
to the
with
to the-
sidewalk
yeah,
space. The crosswalk is,
Guys, maybe it's easier to see on the,
on the actual plan,
yeah.
on the plan.
Well, but on the plan, you really can't see those barriers, so.
The-
no, it is a part, it is closer to the building.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it's like
is, yeah,
5, 6
yes,
feet
yes.
off the building.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take your word for it, but
Yeah,
it wasn't clear from the picture.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Now, we're just discussing sideway. What are we doing first?
Let's do the sidewalk one first, and then we can talk about the
Okay.
roadway one. Joe, you have your hand up first.
Sorry about that. I have a quick question. Let me just my video. Oh, here we go. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. My question is the roadway cafe currently there today, present day?
No,
No.
Okay. Thank you.
no problem.
Well, it's not there today because you can't really have this over winter. But it was there during COVID and it has been there for several years, it sounded like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Stephanie?
Yes, thank you. Please clarify, would you, the 71 feet is that the whole thing, the wraparound, is that correct? It just goes around the corner? Or do you have two different measurements for 3rd Avenue for the sidewalk cafe and then the 92nd Street? Is this the roadway cafe that we're looking at here? We are talking about the sidewalk, right?
Road was, yeah, I'm sorry. I got the
No, that's okay. Okay. So that was it. I saw 71 feet, but that includes both 3rd Avenue and 92nd Street. Is that correct?
3rd Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
It
Oh.
has-
It's around, right?
Okay.
To the
Okay.
opening, before the opening door on the side entrance of the building. So it comes like, if you go from the top, it's like, it's wrapped around the building, if that's the
Yes.
best way to put it.
Okay, that's the whole 71 feet. And there are no, I don't remember. There are no fire escapes, correct?
No.
The fire escape's on the left side and on the
On
front
the-
of the store.
right.
And that's not, there's no awning, there's nothing to impede. Okay.
No.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the fire escapes are clear. Yeah, yeah, you have to have them
Yeah,
clear.
you have to, it's right here. It's up here.
Yes.
I guess, sorry, if I'm looking at Google Maps, which I like to do during these, I do see a fire escape right above one of the awning on the 92nd Street side. And it does appear that there's like a permanent covering over it. Josephine, would you mind pulling up Google Maps?
There's no tables. I'm getting confused. There's no tables. Like, we don't keep tables under the, I mean, there's fire escape, but it's not impaired by the like, people could get out, God forbid there's a fire. That's like, we have an area that they could come down.
Yeah, I guess like, from the picture, they can step on the awning
Right.
and jump down from the awning.
No, the
No,
fire escape
so it
goes right through the
right
hole.
Oh, I see.
There's
Big
a
hole.
hole
There's a big
there.
hole that
So
goes
that
right
doesn't,
down.
yeah, you can't,
It goes
Okay.
right down.
right down to the floor, and they could go
Yes.
right down, run out if they had to.
Okay, I do see the sunlight coming through now. Okay.
Yeah, it goes straight
It
down.
goes straight down. I mean, if you go from the top angle,
Yeah.
you see it goes straight down. You see the ladder goes through the hole. There's a big hole there. Yeah, that's
Where?
Right here.
right there. I mean, you see where the ladder is, where the light is? There's a
There's a
hole
hole
there,
right above the light.
which the
right-
ladder
right
goes,
there.
drops
See
down.
that great opening? See that box? Right
Right.
above it,
It's right there.
right there.
Right.
Goes straight down.
Okay,
You could see the light goes through.
Yeah,
If you see the light where it goes through.
This is permitted by FDNY under fire code?
yes.
Okay.
This is all gone. The plant
That, yeah,
side
this
is
is
all
all gone. That's
where
all
the-
removed.
Yeah.
The whole
And you can see
side.
the sidewalk. That's the space from the
Yeah.
sidewalk to the curb.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe you can describe. So obviously this is from the previous iteration, right? This is from 2022.
Yeah.
Maybe you can describe a little bit what the difference is between what this is and what you are planning it to be. That will help a little bit.
I mean, the 16 tables and 32 chairs is the same we've had over the
Over
last
this
25 years. We did have the whole area. We cut it down to whatever a limited 12 tables, whatever the city allowed us for. So we did two smaller amount on the side area. That's the only thing different.
All right, Staley, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I had a question. Actually, could you scroll back down on that image a little bit that we're looking at now? I was wondering so next to the roadway cafe, there are two black squares with a little dot in the middle. What are those trees? What is that
What's that?
What?
on the diagram?
Oh, I'm sorry, I have the roadway. These here,
Yeah, what is that?
those are,
Out the street, isn't that the street?
Is that a planter or something like that?
No,
It's
that's
probably
not
a planter, yeah.
Is it a planter or is it?
I'm not sure.
Or is it the street, the thing?
No,
Let me check.
the architect did.
I
Those
don't
are
know
probably.
he probably plants. I don't know what he did.
And I see, the kind of, I guess what I'm getting at is I see in the photos as well. There's definitely at least one tree that's
There's
in
a
there.
tree there, yeah. There's a tree by the building, correct?
And I mean, it seems really tight through there, right? So I'm sort of imagining myself trying to walk down down 92nd Street. And I've probably got 2 feet of space, 2.5 feet of space between, with the tree and the roadway cafe and the sidewalk cafe all right next to each other. And I don't know I think that would bother me. Like I have to say that as I'm a big fan of the roadway cafes and the sidewalk cafes, but on the other hand, the feeling of that I'm like walking inside a restaurant when I'm just trying to walk down the street is really weird. With people like crossing back and forth and waiters crossing back and forth, especially in such a tight space.
Area he's talking about, what is the space between the sidewalk cafe and this black area, which we are assuming is a tree?
Yeah, I mean the whole sidewalk's only is less than 8 feet wide, so it's got to be quite.
That black area isn't a tree over there. The first one, the one in the back might be a tree because there's definitely a tree there, but that's not a tree. That's got to be something.
Yeah, that's
something.
not a tree.
I don't know what that. I'm be
I
honest
mean,
with
he
you.
could see out there.
Yeah, there's
He
no
could see-
trees
there's no
there.
tree there. You could check.
So maybe in the prints, you could see go back
There's
to
that
that's
one.
the
That's
first
the big tree, right? That's the one tree.
and then
That's
they
the tree.
and then
That's
they
the tree.
can't put a tree by the fire pump
Right, there's a fire hydrant.
there. So that black spot.
Oh, is that the fire? Maybe that's the fire. Is that the fire
Yeah, that's
hydrant?
got to be a fire hydrant because that's you can't put a tree by the fire hydrant right there.
Right there, that's the fire.
Fire hydrant. You
Right
can't
there.
put a tree.
So okay, thank you.
If I
But
can
what
Yeah,
is the
and-
space between,
Sorry, right before this,
From- what
Constantine
is
has
the
had his
space-
hand up for some time. Constantine, please.
if you go on Google Maps and you click on other dates and you go to 2019, before any of this stuff existed, you'll see that it's a planter with nothing in it. It's just like grass. I think that's what the black square is. And you can see how wide the sidewalk is too.
Right. It was supposed to put a tree there. I believe in they're not allowed. They weren't allowed because of the fire hydrant there.
Yeah, but it looks like I mean, I've walked down that street plenty of times. It's fairly wide. Yeah, I don't see how it would really obstruct anything
oh, okay.
personally.
Doris, you had another question?
No, I think my question has been answered.
Okay. Great. Any other questions, comments? All right, so we're talking about the sidewalk cafe first, and that's the first one's up for approval. So motion to approve the sidewalk cafe with our standard set of stipulations. Actually, one more question from me, Josephine. Have we heard any previous comments or complaints about this location from the general community?
No, we have not.
Okay, great.
No.
That's perfect. Okay, so sidewalk cafe for approval, standard stipulations. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any against? Okay. Any recusals or abstentions? I don't see. I see. I think that was Wake. Okay, I don't see.
He's not all board members are voting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. I was confused. Okay, so I think that was all in favor, 0 against, 0 recusals or abstentions. Great. All right, I will put the other one up for discussion if there are any on the roadway cafe. Any further discussion points around that? Doris, please go ahead.
This is a very busy area. It's across the street from Food Town. There is a bus stop on the adjacent corner. There's a bus stop in front of Food Town. 92nd Street is the only through street south of 86th Street from Diker Heights to Western Bay Ridge. And it's a dog-leg intersection or an irregular intersection. And it's very busy. Obviously, we saw one picture that showed a car blocking the crosswalk. So I think this is a very dangerous spot for a roadway cafe.
Stephanie?
I just wanted to echo what Doris said. Thank you.
All right, any other comments, concerns? Constantine?
Could you elaborate why you think it's a dangerous place for a roadway cafe? It is a one-way street. You know, it's a commercial area, and I don't know why. I don't know.
Because it's a busy one-way street, because it's the only south of 86th Street, the only direct access from the Verrazano Bridge and Diker Heights to west of 3rd Avenue. And because it's a very congested area, with the amount of activity at Food Town, with people turning into the parking lot, making U-turns and 2 bus stops, it is a very difficult intersection. And I think anything that impedes it is problematic.
A roadway cafe, though, also can serve as like a traffic calming measure. You know, it's also less cars there pulling in and out of the area because it's less parking spots. And people shouldn't be doing U-turns to begin with. I feel like that's an enforcement issue.
But they happen all the time.
But K-turns aren't illegal. K-turn is a legal moving action if you want to do a K-turn. So I don't see the difference between a K-turn and a U-turn, but you could do K-turns legal.
But it is a very, very busy area. And I think anything restricting access, and I think a roadway cafe restrict access, is problematic to me.
I think anywhere along 3rd or 5th Avenue that we're going to have roadway cafes is going to be a busy area. You know, there's a lot of car traffic, a lot of foot traffic. I don't see how it's really any different here.
I guess to be fair,
I disagree.
To be fair, like that, it sounds like this has been there for some time and really hasn't caused any kind of traffic issues. You know, maybe if it's a hypothetical new location, that might be the case, but not really the case here, it seems like. Stephanie, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to agree with Doris. I think because using humans in a roadway cafe as a measure to calm traffic concerns me. There is a lot of crazy movement in that area in particular. And overall, I have a problem, not just with this one, but with all of the roadway cafes, because it's another impediment. We talk about pedestrian safety. I don't understand why we're putting pedestrians in the street, but in addition to that, we're putting more obstacles in the street. The situation, you know, many consider it an inferior concern, but parking has become worse and worse. And instances now where cars are found more often in hydrants. And that was an issue recently with a
Yes.
fire. And so I just cannot support additional obstacles in the street, particularly where humans are concerned. We're placing them there. So this is not specific to Paneantico, but to all roadway cafes. I want to be clear about that. Thank you.
Okay, Staley?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna echo what others are saying. Like, it's certainly not the cafe owner's fault, but the way that the roadway cafe is structured sort of is inviting people to park right in front of that fire hydrant and inviting people to block the crosswalk, right? We just looked on Google Maps together, and two separate images taken at two different times on Google Maps both show people in that fire hydrant, right? So I think people are gonna park there, right? And I think it sort of creates all these safety concerns that Stephanie and Doris were talking about. I mean, I am not completely against the roadway cafe. I think I would feel better actually if it was a little shorter and a little farther back from 3rd Avenue. I think would help address my particular concern about cars parking in front of the hydrant there.
We did make it shorter and further back from the pump, just so we're all on the same page. It's not exactly next to the pump. It's probably 14, 15. It's like 3 blocks away up until the door of the building over on the side there, which does allow for the turns and, people not, for safety. They did also take the 2 spots away on the corner by Starbucks to allow for pickups and the turning on that angle.
I forgot that was Starbucks.
I don't know how they got that approved, where
They
they put a loading
dock across
right
the
across the
street
street
to
from
help
us.
out. But I don't know who did that.
I don't know who did
how
that
they
and
did
how
that.
they passed that.
The New York City DOT neighborhood
Yeah.
loading.
I don't
Yeah,
know how
across
they
the
got
street
that
by
approved. Right
Starbucks,
across the street from Starbucks, there's a loading dock.
It's a loading area, which takes away 3
Yes.
spots. And I mean that allows the turning
A
a
lot.
lot smoother
Mhm.
but people still park there. Obviously, it's hard to stop people, but it is there. And
For
then
Starbucks.
I don't know for the neighbor.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Can we
Okay.
see the overhead diagram again? Sorry, I don't have it locally on my computer, just to see the distances that we're talking about.
You mean the schematics, Staley?
That's correct, the schematic.
Yeah, if you see the seats start like from that 17 away from the pump. So it's not exactly, it's like after the planter. I mean, what that black box.
But that's kind of my point. Sorry, I don't mean to. That's kind of my point is that looking at this schematic, it looks like between the end of the roadway cafe and the crosswalk, there's basically a single parking space there, which is in front of the fire hydrant. And I feel like people are gonna be parked there all the time.
But that's
Just like we see in every time we look at this spot on Google Maps, somebody's parked there.
right. That's not me. That's not us. That's not
No,
our.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm not.
There's nothing we could do about that.
People
Well,
fit 2 cars
I
there,
think I'm
people
proposing
fit
that you.
all
I'm proposing that something you could do about it is make the roadway cafe shorter.
What if we put like
to
a
allow
barricade?
for some parking? Yeah.
Would we be allowed to put a barricade there so people can't park? I don't know if the city would allow us to do that.
Maybe a phone, I could check, but this roadway cafe is smaller than the one that was previous to this.
Yeah, it took the whole
Yeah.
building all the way up until the garage.
Yeah, in the schematic, you can see it doesn't even take up the whole length of the building to the very end there.
No,
It's
it's
smaller.
a lot smaller.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Constantine.
Did receive.
I just want to note that, like, south of 86th Street, 3rd Avenue is just chaotic in general with all the double parking. There's pretty much zero enforcement. So whatever you do with that fire hydrant, whatever you decide to do, people are going to park there. Unless there's more unless there's more enforcement, it's just going to happen. So it has nothing to do with you guys and the roadway cafe, you know. Yeah, it's crazy down there.
Yeah, so sometimes people leave their car there all
Yeah,
night.
they're
I'm
not-
in
yeah.
early. I see the cars there. It's like, this is crazy. They're
I mean,
leaving
I
home.
lost, I mean, I know about the fire that happened. That was a very close friend of mine. So I understand, but
They
there's no
gotta-
control over it. There's no control over that.
Well, it's also kind of a danger to you if that hydrogen spot is taken, right? And God forbid there's some kind of issue.
I would rather block it, put cones around it so nobody could do nothing.
Okay, any other comments from the committee? All right, so I'll put in the motion to approve the roadway cafe with our standard set of stipulations. All in favor, please raise your hand. I think I count 3. Okay. Any against? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Right.
We have Carmen here.
Okay, I count 4. And any abstentions or recusals? I see none. Okay, so that was denied. So this will go to, so the sidewalk cafe was approved by this committee. The roadway cafe is denied with the standard stipulations by this committee, both of which will go to the broader community board as recommendations from this committee.
Jack, the vote was in favor. You voted
sorry.
in favor, Chris voted in favor, Joe voted in favor, and Carmen voted in favor. Dina, did you vote in favor? 5. So there were 5 votes in favor.
Is that miscounted?
Yeah, and there were 3 votes against Stephanie, Doris, and Staley. So the motion is to approve that carry. I'm sorry, I know you couldn't see in the room here. We have a problem with the camera. So
No worries.
it is approved from the committee, and it will move forward to the full board on Monday, the 24th.
Okay, great. Apologies, I miscounted on my end. Thank you so much for your time. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one, I think, is Ammonia, who we spoke with last year.
Yes,
Jack,
I'm here.
Jack, didn't we do Ammonia already?
So we did the roadway cafe for Ammonia. This is the sidewalk cafe, so.
Okay.
Oh.
Is for Ammonia Cafe, sidewalk cafe, 36 feet long, 9.5 feet wide for 8 tables and 32 seats, 7612 3rd Avenue, application number 202407230300004. So they previously applied for a roadway cafe, which the board approved in November of 24. Ammonia previously held a license for an unenclosed sidewalk cafe in since 2001. There have been no 311 noise complaints for this location. And that measure was since 2020 for the past 5 years. I believe the applicant is here.
Yeah, I'm here if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
We can.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what's wrong with my video. I can't get it on. I can't turn it on for some reason.
That's okay. So maybe you can talk a little bit about why you would also like a sidewalk cafe.
It makes well during the summer, people sitting outside. Basically, you have people sitting outside. People walk by, drive by. They see the place busy. They like coming to places that look busy, instead of having just seats inside.
Okay. All right. Do we have a schematic?
All right. Everyone see the schematic?
Yes. Okay. All right. I'll open up for questions.
Jack, I have a question. Was the roadway cafe approved?
Yes.
Yes.
So they have a roadway cafe and now they want the sidewalk cafe.
Yes. I believe they haven't had the sidewalk cafe before, but in previous years they have had the roadway cafe. So the sidewalk cafe is new. Is that correct?
We had both. We had both,
You had both. Okay.
and we applied for both at the same time. So, but just one came up before the other one. I'm not sure why.
Josephine, do we have any idea why DOT delayed this one versus the other application?
DOT, taking them in the order that they came to so it depends on staffing, who they're assigned to. There's no really rhyme or reason. They did not indicate a reason why. I think it's just, who had it on their desk and just the timing of it.
All right, Staley.
Does this application reflect the new stipulations that we designed at the end of last year?
I'm confused. I'm sorry, Stanley.
Right, then we wrote new stipulations with the smoking and the clarification of the fire codes and some things like that, right?
Yes, it's 10 points. The revised stipulations that were voted on in December.
Yeah. I was just looking at the application. It looks the application itself looks like it has the old stipulations in it.
We realized that when we sent them out, so we send out the new ones.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. I wasn't sure if we'd like gotten into applications that should include those new stipulations yet.
No, I did notice that error, but we will send the applicants the new stipulations.
Could we see the schematic again? Okay, my question is, what are the sizes of the tables? Because if the sidewalk is 17.5 feet and you have an 8 feet clearance, that leaves 9.5 feet. How much space is there? How much space does each table take up?
I'm not exactly sure of the size of the tables, but we measured it out, and it fits. They fit.
If you've measured it out, you should have that information.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me right now. I don't have it in front of me. If you give me a minute, I could go measure. I'm here at the store.
Okay, any other questions?
They're definitely not big. They're more like cafe tables. They're not big, dinner tables. Let's say.
But you have the tables are too deep. How?
Can you see them, Doris? They're on.
Yes, I can, and it seems to me that those tables are probably about 30 inches. And with chairs, that's 36, 36, and 36 is, and you need space between them. Is that enough space to leave the proper sidewalk clearance?
I guess also if you include obviously people sitting in them, is that actually enough clearance?
Right. Like this picture, there's a lot of pedestrian traffic and it's a very busy area.
Like these two tables here, that seems like a reasonable amount, right? But if we're quadrupling this, which is the proposal.
And if you're doubling the depth into the sidewalk, that's very problematic to me.
Lockie, do you expect to need the full 8 tables, or can we do 4 tables instead?
Let me see.
Just because this, even just visually, right? This is a pretty busy street here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could probably do 4 tables. both, I mean, against the storefront, basically, two on one side of the doors and two on the other.
Right.
That
Yeah,
makes more
that would be
sense.
fine. That would be fine.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Jack, do they have a backyard? Do they use the backyard?
Yes, we use the backyard.
Use it in some, like in the spring and summer?
Yes.
Okay, Stephanie?
Thank you. Two questions, please. In the summer or in the spring, when it's good weather, do you find that your backyard, your sidewalk cafe, and your roadway cafe are all full?
Yes, some summer nights, yes, definitely.
Okay, all right. And the second question, I know each of the photographs is different, but this one that we're looking at now, do those bikes are those for delivery for your restaurant?
One of them is, but it's no longer being used, so
Okay, so you're not,
we have no bikes there in front of the store.
all right, so they wouldn't be obstructing or adding to the,
No,
additional.
the clutter, yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I have a technical question. If they're agreeing to reduce it to 4 tables directly against the building, do they have to amend their application, or can we make that amendment as part of our approval?
We can make that amendment as part of our approval.
Thank you.
So is amendment as part of like the stipulations, or is like that's a separate technical thing?
We could add it, so our stipulations are set in the form of a letter. So when we write to DOT, we could say, motion to approve, provided that, there's a reduction in tables from 8 to 4, and with the following stipulation agreement, and then we list the 1 to 10, the new steps.
Great. Okay, any other comments?
Carmen has her hand raised.
Doris, I just want to say you made a good point, because I'm envisioning the summer walking down that block. And it's not just the tables, the amount of tables, it's the amount of people sitting out there with different sized dogs, baby carriages, and other modes of traffic, or, kids running around. So I just want to say that was a good point.
Okay, all right. So with I don't see any other hands up. So motion on the floor is to approve this application with the same stipulations, with the understanding that this will be amended down to 4 tables instead of the 8 originally. Okay. All 4, please raise your hand. See everyone's hand. Any against? Any abstentions or recusals? Okay, I believe that was all 4. Right, thank you, Lucky. I think we have one more application for Bay Ridge Cafe.
So next on the agenda. is
Thank
Cafe.
you, guys.
So let's go
Thank
to
you.
802, Fourth Avenue. It is review of a dining out application, which, for it's 78 feet long, 6 feet wide for 5 tables and 10 seats. It is application number 2024 0803030023. So I have a photo of the cafe. The establishment is a hookah bar and cafe. They applied for the sidewalk only on 68.
Oh, okay.
There have been no 311 complaints for this location. This is the schematic that was provided in the application. The hours of operation. Oh, and I have them here, the standard outdoor dining stipulations that were approved in December. So,
Okay.
is here, Khalid Shahadi.
Khalid is speaking, but you're muted. Can you
Okay.
unmute, can you unmute yourself? I still can't hear.
About now,
There we go.
is it good?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Good.
You,
I'm glad. Hi, how are
we
you?
hear you. Okay, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Do you want to give a quick statement around why you applied for the sidewalk cafe?
Oh, the Sidewalk Cafe. I'm just doing it for just help out for the senior citizens that coming out of the hospital if they want to get to come in and have coffee and tea. They don't want to come inside because there's a hookah bar and hookah lounge inside, and then they don't want to deal with the smoke. That's the reason I just wanted to have it in, I guess, for people that want to sit outside not smoking.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that our standard stipulations does have like no smoking stipulations, and that will actually be enforced in the sidewalk cafe as well.
Yeah, that's different. Nobody smokes outside in the Sidewalk Cafe. I know that for sure.
Okay. I do also want to mention that in some previous times when we've had potential of smoking, we've requested or we put in our stipulations to make sure that there are no smoking signs that are visible and clear so that people know that there's no smoking. I would like to add that to our stipulations for this place. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I have a smoking sign. I have no smoking signs outside. I put them up there for a reason. But
Okay.
people that walks around, people they just come by and smoke. I know I don't know what to tell them, but I'm not gonna get in trouble with the people that walks around. But as far as my property area where the seating area, I don't let anybody to smoke there.
Great.
We see
Alright,
the schematic again? I was confused by something. So where it
And
shows, where it shows outdoor dining, the closest, it shows, and then it shows entry and exit door. Are there tables there? Is there a barrier there?
what do you mean barrier?
You have a 50-foot outdoor dining area on the top side of the picture.
On
But-
68th Street side?
On the 68th Street side. But there's also, it says entry and exit door.
No, you gotta put it back. Oh, he's going, okay.
See the entry and exit door. Let me see this. I have two entrances on the door. On the location, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 entrance.
So would there be any tables here?
No, by the entrance, no tables on the entrance. It's just by the door. On the side.
So,
It's
where does this 50 feet, where does it end?
50 feet. Okay, it starts from the front door from the right 4th Avenue side. It ends on. So it's okay. This is two different stores. Okay, this is the building entrance. There's no tables there.
But will there be a barrier then why do you need 50 feet?
Because
let me-
the store is long up down the block because I cannot block the intersection for the building.
So it is a little clearer on Google Maps in the schematic. Maybe Joseph, if you can actually pull that up. It will hopefully answer a lot of your questions.
Okay. All that's been removed. Okay,
Was
right
there-
here. Right here, this is the side entrance. As far as as far as the petition that you have outside, we have removed that one because the city wants us to remove it because they don't want us to have any petition outside. So we removed this.
but, I'm not,
Go ahead.
could we go back?
I'm gonna go to Google because I'm on. this.
Yeah.
It's not as clear.
I did,
What's going on here?
It's gonna jumping out.
Here we go. Okay, 6802.
Okay, there we go.
That's it. There you go.
Okay, so you have 50 feet. What is the distance between the area, right where your entrance is to the entry to the residence here, or whatever these double doors are? Is that
Okay.
50 feet?
It's 50 feet from here to the end.
Where's the end?
Go back, keep going. Right there, that's the end. See where the two doors is?
Yes, but what about these doors to the left?
Yeah, this is the two doors. That's the cafe doors. This one and the other one in the front.
Josephine, I need some technical help here. Is that appropriate to have to request a sidewalk cafe for 50 feet when there are all these entrances in between?
You know, Doris, there are certain rules about entryways. There are 5 tables that are proposed. So it's hard to tell because the schematic doesn't include the tables. But I believe, you know, you could certainly fit 2 where these condensers are, another one 3, and maybe 2 here. Is that what your plan is? Because there were 5 tables.
The tables is 2 by 2 table. There's one you can put right here on the right side, one on the left side, the 2 in here, and one by the door on the left side by 4th Avenue side. Right there, up front.
Right here.
Yes, right there. On the front, yeah, right there. I
On
moved.
the front, on the very front, so like on the 4th Avenue side.
No, I removed the 4th Avenue. I'm not gonna be using 4th Avenue no more.
Okay.
Only on the
4th
side.
Ave, 4th Avenue is not gonna be used anymore. It's just gonna use the side entrance and that's it. I don't want any problems with people that keeps coming around and comes hang out in here and smoke whatever. So it gets left the side entrance. It's better off for me.
So your 5 tables will be from this point here on the side to
From here to the door, yes.
here to
5
this.
tables.
So from this point here to the first entryway, you'll have 5 tables?
That's right.
Okay.
And these barriers will not be there, or they are not there anymore, right?
And I'm sorry?
These barriers, like they will not be there.
These barriers already been there from since COVID.
Is that allowed, Josephine? I don't think that's allowed.
Jack, it seems like more like a fence to me.
It's like a fence, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
it's removable. It looks removable to me. Because it looks like it has flat legs at the bottom. So you could take those inside or secure them, is that correct?
I could remove them if I want to remove them. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that is permitted.
Okay, Stephanie.
Yes, there were 2 sections, weren't there? There was a 50-foot section and then a 25-foot section. So the 5 tables will go into the 50-foot section? Is that correct? And none of them are going to, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Okay, but none of them are going to block the side doors, correct?
None of them are going to be blocking the side doors now.
Okay, now you have, I think the schematic showed a second section of 25 feet. Is that correct?
The other one, the other section, you mean?
Yes,
The other section is gonna be one table there.
just one table. Oh, wait, yes, that's 28 feet. Okay. And there's only one table in that 28-foot.
It's only one table there, that's right, and then another 4 tables on the other side.
Oh, in total, it's 5.
A total of 5, that's right.
Oh, not just, okay, all right. Got it, thank you.
So,
You're welcome.
okay. So
And also he said the tables were 2 by 2, correct?
The tables is 2 by 2.
2 by 2.
okay, so 4 tables in the first 50-foot section, 1 table in the other section, if I understand that correct.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, any other questions? Joe, please.
Raise my hand. Yeah, I have a question. How long have you been in business at this location?
15 years.
And it's always been so just it says cafe, but it's a cafe hookah lounge?
It's a cafe hookah lounge.
Okay. And do you serve alcohol?
No,
No alcohol. Okay.
No
Thank you.
no
Thank
problem.
Okay, any other comments? Any other discussion? Okay, so motion on the floor to approve this application for the sidewalk cafe with our standard stipulations, and I would like to add in additional stipulations to require no smoking signs in the on the tables.
Can we say multiple smoking signs visible to the public?
Okay,
Multiple. Okay.
yeah, no problem. We'll do that.
Yeah, stipulation does read signs necessary to comply with this requirement must be prominently and conspicuously posted in those areas, and ashtrays shall be prohibited.
No, I straight, okay.
Okay,
All right, all in favor of that with the standard plus amended stipulations, please raise your hand. Okay, any against? Any recusals or abstentions? Okay, I think that was unanimous. Thank you.
So give me a moment. Very good. Okay, so that concludes our outdoor dining applications. And then Jack asked me to put together this brief intro slide. Bay Ridge City Bike expansion. On December 13, 2024, Mayor Adams announced that the latest City Bike expansion, phase 3.5, will include Bay Ridge. There will be new docking stations are expected to arrive in the fall of 2025. The expansion will include electric bikes, although it has not been announced where they will be located. DOT is currently conducting outreach and seeking feedback via a portal to identify ideal locations for the new docking stations. The feedback portal map is live and will be open from mid-January to mid-April. There is already a lot of feedback on the portal if any of you have visited it. New York City DOT will present to CB10's Traffic and Transportation Committee sometime in May or June. That's kind of an estimate. So I don't know if anyone's had the opportunity to visit the portal. It's basically all full. If you've looked at it, it's lots of recommendations, and we have put it in the newsletter out there with the link to share that information with the public, as well as on social media. So, Jack?
Yeah, so I see there's a question in the Q&A. Maybe I'll just go ahead and read that out loud. Has the City Bike team given an indication of what their planned timeline is after the May-June presentation?
The fall. Oh, Brian's on, yeah. My understanding is that it's based on just the correspondence in the press release, is the fall of 2025. Brian, I promoted you. I saw you. I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier. So yes, it's the fall of 25.
And do we have any idea of like how many stations are they going to try to actually cover the entire location, or is it like still preliminary?
Yeah, I mean, I had a brief conversation because we did invite DOT and they said it was, they explained their timeline. That they put up the portal for, feedback. And then when they have a proposal, they're expecting it to be in May with a full installation. Just the boundaries are what's under review now. So from Shore to 7th Avenue and from the northern portion of the district, 63rd Street to 4th Avenue at the southern end of Shore Road. So all of Bay Ridge.
All of Bay Ridge is up in scope potentially.
Yes, yes. So if you see it on this map here, that blue dot at the bottom is all Bay Ridge. That's
Oh my God.
Yeah.
kind of odd that they didn't like shade this part of the map, but this is Bay Ridge right here.
Chris, I think I saw his hand up first.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, so there, we're talking about just city bike docking stations just in general, but also, or this is also something more than that. These are also e-bikes, or how is this working? A full disclosure, I'm really not a fan of City Bike. It's owned by Lyft. It's backed by very large companies. I think it does nothing for small businesses. I think they're not appropriately placed. I think if you want to have bikes for people like that, you should put them near the parks where they have, and on the sidewalks where you have, bike paths available to people. We have enough congestion as it is, and it's tough enough to park. I find it the worst kind of government partnership, to be honest with you, because I don't think it gives any opportunity to people to, I think there's better ways of doing what they're doing. And I am supportive of people bike riding and using mass transit and using their cars less, but I'm not in favor of, I don't think anytime soon people are going to get rid of their combustion vehicles and we're going to need parking. And even if it's an electric car that you own and you don't have a garage or a house or a place to park that car, you're still going to be parking it on the street. So I just really, I would like city planning to be extra considerate and DOT to be extra considerate in how they approach this, because I just feel it's a boondoggle on its own anyway, and we have enough boondoggles in the city.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
And so, 1 second.
I can't hear you.
No, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So these what are they, host stations, parking stations, docking stations, bike stations, are they going to be when they build them out? Do they build them out in the street, or they build them out on the sidewalk, or both?
Well, so we have a few stations in Bay Ridge, some in the street, some on the sidewalk. So if you visit the portal, that's online, it's on intersections. I mean, I read some of the comments, some are wide sidewalks, but some recommend, there's lots of recommended sites. But one, for example, that seems to have had a lot of feedback is by the 69th Street Pier. There's wide sidewalks there. So we've had both sidewalks but my understanding is from the last presentation, last time they were here in Bay Ridge, is that they do look to place the city bike stations in areas, a few blocks away from each other, to be part of a transportation expanded network. And, at this point, it's preliminary. We're in the feedback portion. So I think DOT takes that information back, and whatever their requirements are, working with City Bike, they'll come up with a proposal and present it to the committee, which is what happened last time. And
So one more question, one more comment. Did they say how many city bike stations they're proposing to put in Bay Ridge? Like a number, like 5, 10?
no.
No. And also my comment is, we're like today we're voting on roadway cafes, and like Christopher said, now you're going to have e-bike stations in the street. There are people that still drive, and parking is a big problem and forever will be. And if we just keep taking away parking spots from the community, it's going to be hard for small business to survive. Because in the end of the day, people need to come to the store, park their car, do their business, and then go home. If they can't park their car, what are they gonna do?
I'm sorry, Jack.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'll say is that, like, I do have a bike, right? But there's like zero bike parking spots anywhere. So it's not like I can bike to a store and park in a store, right? Otherwise, I park outside next to a tree and then it gets stolen. So, there's zero bike parking in that way.
Wait, hold. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what I was gonna say. Like, there's, like, if you just walk along the street or ride along the street, like, I can't just park my bike anywhere. It's like the stone.
But Jack, I remember back in the day when I had a bike and I was biking everywhere. I had a chain. I found a pole and I chained it to the pole. I mean, you don't necessarily need a parking spot for the bike.
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
One pole per street is not sufficient.
I would agree with Joe too. I mean, I own a bike, and back in the day on the sidewalk, there used to be places where you could chain your bike. And I would take my front tire off, I would go to class, and I'd come back down and get my bike. I just find it perplexing that the city on this grand scale, awards cannabis licenses, and they wouldn't support something like maybe small businesses, especially perhaps in low income communities, and support like bike stores or bike rentals or small enterprises like that. I mean, this is an enterprise that's, like, from what I understand, is like supported by Lyft, if I'm correct, and Lyft is owned by BlackRock, and they screwed up enough. To be honest with you, that's a personal opinion. But more importantly, my concern is that in this community, we are definitely an outer borough. We're in the outermost part of the borough where people use their cars, and whether the market brings a vehicle that's not only sustainable, runs on renewable energy, and is available at a reasonable cost to people and reasonable servicing, those cars are not going to go anywhere. So it's the real cost that is being caused on people is the spending in some instances on initiatives like this. It's going to cost people who have cars that are going to have to find parking. Do you know how much it costs to park a car in a garage? I could tell you, it's up there. It's a couple $100, just for a month. And parking here near Century 21 was. So I mean, I appreciate the fact that we have the opportunity to review these things. I don't know how much the breath I'm wasting on this is going to do anything. I just wish our leaders, our elected leaders, would just, like, put a little more, sense into selecting what they choose to spend money on and what they choose to partner with large private or corporate interests in doing. Because I know what my day-to-day life is in this community. I don't know what their day-to-day plans are for our future. And it just concerns me when something like this starts to creep along and take up more space that's used a lot by people. So I'm just throwing that out there because it's definitely something I've thought about. Thank you.
Constantine.
So as somebody who drives, I am a car owner. I do primarily commute by bike. I understand that parking is an issue, but driving at the end of the day is a privilege, and we're not entitled to having that space for us to, basically store our vehicles. If parking is that difficult for you, you can rent a garage, and if it's too expensive, then you should be advocating for better public transit options. Bay Ridge suffers from a lack of public transit. The buses are slow. Everyone double parks because everybody drives here because they don't want to take the train because the train sucks, because the buses suck. So, it's kind of like this feedback loop. And we're not really going to get anywhere unless we start investing in alternative methods of transportation. And biking is a valid method of transit. A lot of people are relying on it the same way that they rely on the MTA. And it also gives us a reason to expand our biking infrastructure. We have, aside from 7th Avenue, we have 0 protected bike lanes. 4th Avenue connects all the way to downtown Brooklyn, except for in Bay Ridge. You know, it could connect to the Greenway, that could take it to Coney Island. You know, it could be really nice for people to not be using cars. And it also creates an incentive to not have a car because you have that other option to get around.
No, I totally agree with that. And as I said, I do own a bike and I keep it in my apartment. And you know, when I use it, I use it. I use it along the waterway. I also own a car, you know, and right now it's cost prohibitive for me to park it in a garage, but I do need a car. So, you know, that's a reality. I think it's a reality for most people. I do support alternatives to transportation. I just feel like the way City Bike is run, the way it's run, it just boggles my mind how they do this. I don't know what the frequency is in our community of like bike riding, which is also another thing. I know there are a lot of community events that actually promote bike safety and in Brooklyn, a lot of nonprofits do it that are involved with public safety in partnership with the NYPD. They do bike safety and bike etching so your bike doesn't get stolen. And I think that's great because it promotes owning a bicycle and how to ride it safely. I don't think there's anything like that associated with City Bike. I just see more and more City Bikes creeping in. And I wonder, I know there's a bike store on 3rd Avenue. Does that person suffer because of City Bike? You know, are there small businesses that suffer because of City Bike? You know, it's great to have City Bike. They're to me they're kind of boring. You know, they're all the same. It's not as unique as New York is meant to be. You know, it's just a bunch of docks, the same color bike, taking up more and more spaces, often not on sidewalks. So, you know, and again, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I'm saying that I think they're doing it in a way that increases the cost for people. I also take the ferry every morning to work. You know, that's my public transportation. I don't take the subway, I don't take the bus. My wife takes the bus. So it's just, you know, there it is.
So Josephine, when they do come back in May or June, like what will be our role in that conversation?
Last time, a number of stations were presented to us and we had the ability to provide feedback on those locations. You know, as we do with you know, many recommendations provided, we have the opportunity to provide feedback for consideration. So that's it for our agenda tonight.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, team. Thank
I
you.
have one comment before we adjourn.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Doris.
All buses now have cameras and they can issue fines if someone is parked in the bus stop. The city has issued 400,000 bus stop tickets from the buses alone. And it'd be interesting to see the breakdown in our community.
We'll look for that. All right, thank you.
Awesome. Yes, I heard about that. It was interesting. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.
Good night. Thank you.